Seth, welcome. Good to have you with us. You have two companies that you say do have pricing power, Williams-Sonoma and Restoration Hardware, and one that you says doesn't, Wayfair. Explain why the two do and why the third one doesn't, and whether you like the stocks.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Restoration Hardware, RH, and Williams-Sonoma are two companies that are extremely well positioned in the home furnishing space. RH's pricing power has been on display for the last 5 years or so. They've had no problem raising prices, still generating strong sales gains through not only the pandemic, but even the years prior to the pandemic. Williams-Sonoma, on the other hand, has really come up to its own in the last 2 years. They just started showing through from a pricing power standpoint pre-pandemic, and that's come to fruition in the last 2 years. And that's especially true in their Williams-Sonoma brand and their Pottery Barn brand, and in their West Elm brand, their fastest growing brand. On the other hand, if you take a look at Wayfair, which is more of a mass market oriented retailer, they're operating a marketplace. So they're going to be putting prices up primarily based on what the competition has out there. They don't have the same type of brand power that you have at a Williams-Sonoma or at a RH, and therefore they don't have the pricing power. So we're going to see margins from their business get squeezed in 2022.
So that's with Wayfair, your concern, Seth. What about, I mean, when we hear, just last hour we spoke with one trader who's taken anything in the housing sector out of his portfolio. We hear a lot of these concerns about a cyclical slowdown. Does it mean that even the ones with pricing power, like an RH, like a Williams-Sonoma, could still run into some slowdown here? I don't know what word quite to use to describe it. Some headwinds.
Yeah, no doubt. And no company is immune to cyclical forces. RH and Williams-Sonoma are relatively mature companies, but they have a lot of key growth drivers because of the brand strength that they have. And we expect those drivers, as well as the fill of the backlog of orders that you referenced before, to help drive almost double-digit revenue growth for both companies in 2022.
Okay. By the way, speaking of the pricing power that they do have, how much more could they continue to raise prices, you think, and not get pushback?
Yeah, we're seeing consumer confidence slow for sure. And I think the most pressure is towards the lower end of the income spectrum. These two retailers focus more towards the upper end, and those consumers are less price sensitive. So they're in a good position from that perspective. We think they'll be able to continue to move prices higher in line with higher costs and probably maintain margin rates so long as the confidence of that higher end consumer remains strong. So that's the key thing that we're watching when it relates to being able to maintain pricing power in 2022.
Fair enough. Seth, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it today.